Good morning, neighbors and friends. My name is William Bryan Wardman of the Jefferson Park Neighborhood Association. Today we have video that was taken from our general meeting of September 29th, 2021. We have two sets of guests. The first set is brothers Jim and Elliott from the Masons to talk about an upcoming health fair and also what the Masons are all about. The second person is an ex-Tribune reporter. His name is Wayne Klatt, and he will talk about a book he wrote regarding Operation Greylord, which was an FBI undercover operation that netted convictions of 14 judges and attorneys that were accepting bribes in Cook County. This happened in the 1980s. He also co-wrote a book which is called Operation Greylord. I have the link below, and enjoy reading that if you so decide to take a look at that. Enjoy the video.
We do have a couple gentlemen here that have an announcement from the Masonic Temple about a health fair. So there you go. Anytime.
Hi, how are you everyone? This is Brother Elliott Valez. My name is Jim Hamilton. We represent the Jefferson Park Masonic Association, which is the Masonic Temple, 5418 West Gale. I'm sure you've all walked by wondering what's going on in there. We're pushing very hard to up our level of community engagement, community sponsorship. We want to bring everybody in and welcome you to our community as well. Saturday, October 14th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we are hosting a community event. A lot of things going on. We have a blood drive that will be, who's doing it? Versity? Versity is doing our blood drive. Pardon?
I signed up for that today.
Oh, great, thank you, thank you. And I guess August.
That's October 16th. Right?
October 16th.
Because you said it was Thursday, it's Saturday.
Saturday the 16th, my bad. Did I say Thursday?
Just
Saturday the 16th, 10 a.m. Versity will be there for blood donations. Walgreens will be there offering seasonal flu shots, Pfizer and COVID vax, and boosters. All you need if you have a Medicaid card, if you don't have a card, they do have vouchers. They will take care of you if you want to participate. Great. We have two restaurants right now. Ix-Cel Gelato will be on site passing out some excellent treats. And DSD Deli is going to cook a pig for us, a big one. So, a lot of fun. This is community family. Dress the kids up. Bring your families. We'll have photo ops. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be introducing you to our world, the world of the Masons. You can tour the temple. I'm sure Elliott will lead a couple tours. It's a beautiful, beautiful historic building. We usually have done the event with the Historical Society, but they had things planned for this year, so we weren't able to do it. There are some flyers. I'm hoping that Colleen and Eva, we can work together and get this on the website. I would love to get your contact info to work with you on that too, and the Facebook page. So please come and join us. It's free, not a dime. It's going to have food, drink, fun, all kinds of stuff.
Thank you. And then,
Brother Elliott.
yes, Brother Elliott wants to ask.
Yeah, just so you know a little bit about Masonry, here in the state of Illinois, we have over 46,685 members of the fraternity. That's quite a few. We have over 435 temples or lodges that meet. Six of the lodges meet in this particular temple. You'll get to meet each and every one of those people. You'll notice the square and compass. We are a fraternity. We're not a satanic fraternity, as many people describe us. So you see movies.
You're out of luck if that's what you're looking for.
We are there to help the community. We help each other. We take young men and young women and we make them better images of themselves. So we provide a lot of guidance, and we also do a lot of charity work in the communities, feeding the homeless, and doing many other activities in and around the entire state. And as a matter of fact, we are the largest fraternity in the world and the oldest fraternity in the world. So if you want to come and see what our temple looks like, our rank structure, because we do have a rank structure, we do have a treasurer, we have a secretary, we have, as we call it, president or vice president or co-vice president. They're called Works for Master, and we can explain all that to you. Just come on down. Feel free to make your reservations for your blood donations, and there's a website also on the flyer. If not, you can contact the Walgreens at the corner of Foster and Milwaukee and register for your flu vaccine, so we know how many people are coming. And if you haven't received your COVID vaccine and you're interested in doing it, non-political, as a matter of fact, we are a non-political organization. We believe in God, but we do not discriminate against anyone. You have to be a believer in God. No atheist can be a Mason. So let's get rid of that right away. Two things we don't talk about in our lodges is politics and or religion. But even though we believe and we must believe in the deity. We help the youth. We help make young people better. We make better fathers. We make better businessmen, and we just make better people in the community. So we're here to help you. Our doors are always open. We get people walking in all the time. And as Brother Jim mentioned earlier, 2 years ago we had over 400 people from the Historical Society pass through that building. Over 400 people have never seen the temple. And from that, we got quite a few, because we have youth groups that have joined, and Masonic Masons have actually joined the fraternity. So we'll be around for the next 15 to 20 minutes to answer your questions, or you feel like you have to ask questions now, feel free to ask us anything. And with that, my name is Elliott. I've been a Mason for close to 40 years. I'm dating myself. And I've lived in the community for over 24 years. And I've been at that temple for 40 years, even though I lived throughout the city. So I am a member. That building's was built in 1912. So we've been in the community for a very long time. And we're here to continue that relationship and continue to support you and continue to help out. Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so for that health fair that he mentioned on October 16th, if anybody wants to volunteer, they're definitely accepting volunteers to help for that, so that would be appreciated. JPNA does want help with that. So let's see, right over here now, we are going to go with our speaker at this time. We have Mr. Wayne Klatt, and he co-authored a book about Operation Greylord. So I think we're in for a treat. I think it's going to be very, very good to hear from him. And I know he's looking forward to telling us a lot of things.
And he did many other things, we just can't write about it all at once.
Yeah. Do you want to sit here? That'd be fine.
I'd like to move this over here.
Oh.
My voice does not carry.
Oh, that's okay. Wherever you want to move it, whatever makes you comfortable, that's totally fine.
Yes, this is my real voice. You people don't know how long my talk will last, but I do. It's going to last 19 file cards. I'm going to tell the story of Greylord backwards. That is how I got to be involved in it. And then after I'm winded. After I tell you my part, I will not mention myself again. My daughter is here because she enjoys seeing me make a fool of myself. Now, I worked at a small news agency called the City News Bureau. We have a book written about us and a 20-minute MGM movie about us. And that's all that claim to fame. A number of famous reporters came from there. But anyway, I came from a moral family. not religious, it's just moral. We wouldn't think of trying to cheat anyone or lying or anything like that. And there were a number of strange court decisions being rendered in the mid-1970s in the local courts. And I brought it up to my boss, you know, these specific strange rulings, always for an acquittal. And the boss thought I was an idiot. My whole career was working for bosses who think I'm an idiot. So I had two heroes, Congressman Abner Mikva, who was a liberal, and Terry Hake. I was working as an editor at this little news organization when I got a call from Terry Hake saying, do you want to help me write a book about Operation Greylord? I practically threw the papers up. Did I want to help him? It was like getting a call from Marilyn Monroe for a date.
Oh.
Terry Hake, there are 3 books about Operation Greylord, all of them named Operation Greylord. I tried to tell the publisher that, but they don't listen to writers. Anyway, this is the one. I'm not trying to sell any books, but this is what it looks.
Got it upside down.
This is what, in 1981, the investigation started in 1981. The Justice Department said, you've gone as far as you can, Terry, as an assistant prosecutor. We want you to be a crooked defense attorney. Well, remember that Terry is as honest as you can imagine. He didn't know how to get clients that would be crooked. So he had his mother appear in court twice as if he were defending her. Some, you might say, a little bribery in traffic court, that's not much. But Terry was able to gather evidence against Judge Thomas Maloney. He had rendered acquittals in murder cases. One was not Harry Alleman, but 2 other cases. And jumping ahead, Maloney would be the first judge ever convicted of taking bribes in murder cases. In classical music, there's a light movement, a scherzo, and there's sort of a scherzo in Operation Greylord. Terry and some agents that were assigned to him, he's not an FBI agent, but he's in charge of FBI agents, arranged a crime school to learn how to fix various cases. For example, they would take a gulp of whiskey, roll it around in their mouth, and then spit it out. And then they would drive erratically, making sure no one was in danger. And they'd be picked up for drunken driving. That led him to get after the judge who took his money. But the crime school ended when outside the water tower, one FBI agent posed as a victim and another FBI agent posed as a thief. And he accosted the innocent FBI agent, and in order to be arrested, I guess he continued the fighting until he was arrested. But then they found his FBI identification on him, and that's when Greylord was starting to fall apart. Through no fault of Terry, and there were still a number of judges that they wanted to go after. Okay, they learned. Now Terry was involved in the criminal courts. That is, murders, rapes, things like that. The municipal courts were like divorce court, traffic court, and things like that. Judge Richard Lefevre posed as a reformer. He gave talks about the high goals of the judicial system. And what he did was he reorganized the entire municipal court system. I don't remember how many judges there were, a number of them. Let's say 20. So that all of them were sure to take bribes and pass some of them on to him. By 1983, remember, it started in 1980. Greylord had become too big. There was that arrest where a supposed thief was found with a FBI identification. Then there were some rumors floating around that there might be a government mole. Of course, it meant Terry, but Terry had to keep saying, who do you think it is? But he knew that the rug was going to be pulled out soon, and he made sure he got the biggest bribe ever offered in Operation Greylord. It was against Judge Lucius Robinson. He figured it's go for broke. Greylord is ending, so Lucius Robinson is suspicious, no harm done. But Lucius Robinson was so greedy, he was not suspicious. Now, 2 judges and a policeman committed suicide when the Greylord investigation was announced. One of them was Frank Wilson, who had acquitted Harry Alleman, the mob hitman. And Terry was in a bar with fixers. Remember, he had to stay, he was not much of a drinker, but he had to make his drinks last while impaled with these fixers. And he was among all these fixers in a bar when the news came on TV that there was a definite mole in the court system. So Terry had to sweat it out. One of the people who, I think it was an FBI agent, who knew of his role, said something like, "Aren't you glad it's all over?" And Terry said, "Shut up, I'm still undercover."
Oh.
Okay, Terry is sincere, and he testified at 23 trials of fixers, bagmen, judges, and he faced a very good and devastating defense attorney. And the defense attorney knew Terry's weak spot and said, "How did you feel betraying your friends?" And Terry broke down on the stand, and that made him appear weak. But the government attorney kind of got the trial back on track. Not almost all of the people charged in Greylord were convicted, but a few were acquitted. Not because the evidence was weak, but because of extraneous circumstances. Anyway, the story came full circle. It began when Harry Alleman was acquitted of murder. After the Greylord prosecutions, the U.S. Justice Department tried to see if there would be a way to retry people whose acquittals were arranged through bribery. Now, you'd say that would violate the double jeopardy provision. But they took the stand that the defendant was never put in jeopardy because the trial was fixed. That is, in effect, he was not really tried. And the U.S. Supreme Court upheld that decision, and it stands now. And so in 1997, Harry Alleman was retried and convicted, and he died in prison. And everything that was tried in Operation Greylord is still working today. And fixers know that they have to be more cautious. And that's the end of my file cards.
Thank you very much.
There's a question. There's a question,
Anyone have
Dad.
any questions?
Dad?
Oh, yes. Anybody have questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So those bosses who thought you were an idiot, did they ever write a book?
On the defendants?
No, I said the
No, your
bosses who
bosses.
thought you were an idiot. Did any of them ever write successful books?
No, I don't think they could write.
So you got the last laugh.
You know it.
Yes.
What's Cynthia?
I worked at the Cook County
Excuse me,
Courts
I had a
at the
hearing
Daly
problem.
Center
Hold on a second.
from August 1980 to September 2003. I was a school teacher. I got burned out. I taught on the west side. I had a little bit of a political pull, and I asked them to give me a job. My job was at the Daly Center. I was a clerk. Eventually, I got in the courtroom. I was telling judges how to rule on cases. Cook County Sheriff Gattuso, he was a Cook County Sheriff, he had a gun and a badge. He was told to go get Ken Ito, who handled the gambling in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Gattuso and another guy grazed Ito's head with a bullet.
Yeah.
And Gattuso, Ken Ito was in the hospital. He said, I want to talk to the FBI.
Yeah, I worked with the female FBI agent who convinced Ito that he should turn evidence.
So shortly after that, Cook County Sheriff Gattuso was found dead in the trunk of a car.
Oh,
I worked with Annie Pincala Gattuso, her husband was cousins with the Cook County Sheriff Gattuso. My girlfriend's husband, Gattuso, the police forgot to check his sock. He had $2,000 in payoffs. We had child molesters working at the courts. We had prostitutes. The guy that sat next to me was a gambler. I don't know, one of those big horse races, I asked him before lunch which horse was gonna win. That horse came in, but I didn't place a bet. You wouldn't believe what went on there.
Yeah.
We didn't know every day how many judges would come to work. So one judge had to go from one court to another. I was in eviction court at that point, the clerk. And right in front of the public, the judge asked me how to rule on it. So in other words, those rulings shouldn't have even been. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm raising my blood pressure, I better stop. I better let it go. Just let it go, folks. You wouldn't believe what went on in there. And that MacArthur Foundation,
Yeah.
the son had the Bradford Plate Exchange in Niles.
Oh, yeah.
A young lawyer that came to the courts told me that the son was a child molester. And then there was another woman that worked at the courts. They didn't pay us much, but the benefits were tremendous. 13 paid holidays, 3 personal business days. They gave me a new set of teeth. We got glasses, we got health insurance, we got pensions. So my friend had a part-time job. She worked at the courts, but she had a part-time job at the club on Michigan Avenue, the Tavern Club, and some of those people, big executives, were child molesters. Stay in your happy home is all I have to say.
Now, Mr. Klatt, at the end of your writing the story and everything, at the end of the stories, you felt that the court system was getting much improvement after this Operation Greylord came to
Well,
an
it
end?
was improved. Some steps were taken in terms of assigning judges. It's not as open, and since it's not as open, I don't know the extent of it.
Did many quit? Did many of judges maybe quit after Operation Greylord came out? Was there
Well,
early retirements?
yeah, the ones who were convicted became bartenders and things like that. I mean, their lives were ruined.
Yeah.
Well, then I used to hear gossip, but I was low level. I was just a clerk, so I don't know how much truth I heard. But I used to hear rumors that the female clerks from the law firms were giving judges sex, and the judges agreed to work with the law firms and rule in their favor. So those rulings are all no good.
Yeah, that sounds very.
You wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe what went on there.
I think
Any other
the main
questions?
problem is that society has grown too large, but our courts and other systems haven't kept up with it.
Well, we were the biggest court system in the United States,
Yeah,
and we were the lowest paid.
yeah.
I don't know if that's true anymore.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank